Join in on this fantastic lap.
Well, where are all these skaters, these injured people?
Got a few of them. If you can just keep your eyes towards the St. John's, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to present
ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Hitter, and I'm very happy to join by my calling partner today.
Welcome back to Track 1 here now for the Division 2 Grand Final at the Great Southern Slam. I'm Bob DeQuickley.
And I'm Dr. Brain, PhD.
Welcome, thanks for coming, Dr. Brain.
Geez, I tell you what, I was walking past the girls' toilets earlier on, and you can really smell the excitement here at the TGSS. It is an amazing event.
Are you sure that was excitement?
And Division 2 is... It's really the heart and soul of roller derby, I think. It's the up-and-coming leagues.
That's right, it's the grassroots. We've seen a lot more closer games in this Division 2. Most of the teams in Division 2 coming up a little bit short, just bringing 13 or 14 skaters and not having a revolving roster to pick between.
Some of the leagues are bringing half the league to be here or more. There are some very small leagues. It's an impressive event. It's impressive that they come here, and it's great to watch.
And even amongst the officials over the last day and a half, nobody's been able to pick a clear winner or predict a clear winner for Division 2, unlike perhaps Division 1, a little bit more clear cut.
That's right. And of course, everything's very unpredictable at the TGSS. It's only held every 2 years. And a lot of the leagues just never have that opportunity to play against each other regularly. And the teams are lining up for their safety checks when the refs ask that immortal question, is it safe?
I'm a believer that they should come up with a nice dance. Everybody could do the moves in unison, pull out the mouth guard, show the elbow pads.
Yeah, that would be the safety dance.
Oh, you can dance if you want to.
That's right. You can leave your friends behind. We'd probably better introduce some of our skaters.
That's right. This grand final in Division 2 is being fought out between the Reef City Roller Girls from Cairns and the Southside Derby Dolls, or S2D2, the Force.
That's right, as they like to call themselves. We've got a 005 Bacardi Bruiser. We've got 14 Flash Dancer, 147 Ankle Biter, 1512 Apollonia Thunder Pussy. Like to see her on the track.
That needs an echo.
Apollonia Thunder Pussy. Number 23 Danny Hell. Number 25 Winnie Bruise. 27 Killer B. Number 6 Por Favor. Number 616 Shona Mercy. Mini Musica. We were trying to decide how this is pronounced before. Mousica. Probably Mousica.
I'm going to go with Mouse.
We're going to go with Mousica. Number 8 Fairy Bled. Haterade 801. A2 Agrodite. XX3 Tequila Shot.
And for Reef City, number 2 is Repossessed. 21 is Killer Bones. 22 Viva Las Vengeance. 304 Thumper. 357 Long Lash Massacre. 358 Fraulein Fierce. 42 is Malice and Mayhem. 44 is Jackie Slam. Number 6 is Le Mans. 65 Smiling Chaos. 74 Ominous Ohms. 89 Rogue Rage. And 919 Cataclysm.
Fraulein Fierce is lining up on the jammer line already for the Reef City Roller Girls. They're just waiting for Southside Derby Girls dolls to join them.
Tell you what, Brain, I was calling the semi-final for Reef City a little bit earlier on today, and it was a battle of attrition, eventually winning out over Wollongong Illawarra 301 to 106. 6 foul-outs in that game between those two teams.
That's an impressive number of foul-outs.
That's right, just goes to show the amount of roller derby these guys have played so far this weekend.
And we've got Ankle Biter, I believe it is, lining up for the Force.
And straight away, yeah, Reef City take the early outside line and get the lead jammer.
Ankle Biter still having a bit of trouble getting through the pack. But she's through with her first pass after one of the Reef City girls has been sent off with a penalty.
And as she does so, Fraulein Fierce is re-entering the pack, doing battle with the Southside blockers at the front here, just being pushed off on the outside and calling off the jam. First points are on the board, achieved by Fraulein Fierce. And it's 2-0 to Reef City.
Long Lash Massacre is going to be starting this jam in the Rydell penalty box, giving the Force the jam advantage in the pack.
So jamming for Southside, Por Favor. And Smiling Chaos wearing the star for Reef City.
Chaos having a little bit of difficulty on the inside of the pack, getting knocked to the inside.
The Force showing some good backwards bridging skills there to take her as far back as possible. But Por Favor is lead jammer. Her way back around through the pack now, calling off the jam, doing it to hit it and quit it.
That's right, Por Favor cooling it off before Chaos can get any points on the board. It's still just 2-4 though, so we're looking forward to a tight game.
All the players on the track for the start of this next jam.
The Force seem to be getting very, very low.
They are low, they're ready to explode off the line. It's Ankle Biter jamming again for the Force, and Le Mans taking the jam for Reef City this time through. Ankle Biter bridged back by Ominous Ohms there. Almost back to the jammer line.
A little bit of a tussle out the front, pushed out almost to the end of the zone of engagement, but then Le Mans is through with lead jammer.
Yeah, there's a penalty found in there somewhere, looks like a forearms.
That's right.
Yep, Ominous Ohms is being sent off to the Rydell penalty box.
And Le Mans calls it off after picking up 3 points. I think she thought it was 4, but...
Yeah, she thought her hips might have got in front as she turned around and called it off then. Reef City will be jamming Fraulein Fierce. One more time, and Por Favor in the purple for Southside.
Both jammers trying to find a beneficial position on the jam line. Bit of backwards blocking from the Force.
Fraulein Fierce getting down nice and low, trying to push through those defenders, but unable to find the gap. Southside cycling her quite effectively, but she's through now. She's a lead jammer.
The Southside Derby jammer has been recycled right to the back of the pack. She's having a bit of difficulty getting through. She's hoping that doing a few 180s is going to help her. And she's finally through with her first pass.
Meanwhile, back in the pack, Fraulein Fierce taking the points, taking all 5 of the points, having lapped the jammer on that one. And Southside held for nothing again. So Reef City with the early lead, 10 over the 4, still for Southside.
Chaos lining up for Reef City alongside Ankle Biter for the Southside Derby Dolls.
Both jammers still effectively contained by their opposing walls. One of the Southside blockers helping to mix up the Reef City wall somewhat, try and help the jammer through, and she is now through, having strung that defence right out in front.
That's right, there was just a split pack then, allowing the Southside Derby Dolls through.
Pack speeds up now, going to make it as hard as possible for these jammers to get back through. Just Aphrodite, the lone purple blocker amongst that yellow wall of Reef City blockers.
There's a little bit of a fall there in the pack, a backwards fall. It didn't look like it would be pleasant.
Backwards falls are never pleasant, are they?
No, they're really not. And it looks like the Southside Derby Dolls jammer has been sent off. That makes this a power jam for Reef City.
It's cutting the track that ankle biter has been called for. So Smiling Chaos now through. She's not lead jammer. 3/4 of a minute left on this jam clock. It will run its time. Or it should.
Smiling Chaos makes it look a little easy, but she's having a bit of difficulty right at the front of the pack until out of play is called and she's through. Reef City doing a good job of just holding the pack back and pulling it back. The less they move, the less space that the Southside Derby Dolls have to hold back the jammer.
So once again, Smiling Chaos takes those blockers out of play, takes the 5 points, and the 4 whistles indicating the end of the jam.
And the 4 still picks up 4 points there, right at the end of that jam.
Big thanks to Adelaide Showgrounds for supplying the venue for this weekend's Great Southern Slam, and to the Adelaide Roller Derby for helping out, pushing the seating back, making room for all of these 3,000 odd people who are here watching these grand finals now.
There simply isn't another venue in the state that could hold this many tracks and people, probably in the country.
That's Danny Hell jamming for Southside now. And it looks like she is going to be the lead jammer once she makes it past those defenders, which she does now.
Le Mans jamming for Reef City, having a bit of difficulty through the pack, recycled to the back, but then she scoots straight through. The pack opens up as it speeds up.
And To Kill a Shot heading off to the penalty box now. She'll spend half a minute for an infraction.
Danny Hill cools off the jam just as she sees the Reef City jammer coming up close to the back of the pack.
And just looking at the penalty board there, looks like To Kill a Shot has been sent to the Rydell Skates penalty box for an out-of-play block.
Fraulein Fierce lining up for the Reef City Roller Girls with Flash Dancer skating up for Southside Derby Dolls. Southside only has 3 blockers on the track, giving Reef City the pack advantage, and Reef City makes use of it and gets through with lead.
It's still a nice close game early on. We've got an 8-point difference in the score. The Reef City jammer taking a heavy hit into the Southside defenders. We've got a 2-0. Reef City taking 2 more points for that jam.
We've got Le Mans lining up to jam for Reef City, with Por Favor lining up for Southside Derby Dolls. This is confusing, they're both number 6.
6 on 6.
The Force is doing starting off with some assisted blocking in an assisted blocking position with a triangle.
One of their blockers still in the penalty box, although making her way back to the back of the pack now.
Bacardi Bruiser doing some reverse blocking.
It's a fast, scrappy pack at the moment. Hard to see where those jammers are. Looks like Por Favor towards the front of the pack up against those Reef City blockers. Takes advantage of one of those down skaters now. Make her way around the outside for lead jammer.
Le Mans takes a big hit from Tequila.
Tequila
goes
shot.
Down.
Says hello to the concrete here on track 1.
Well, Por Favor calls off the jam after picking up 4 points, stopping Reef City from picking up any. We've got Flash Dancer lining up again, up against Fraulein Fierce for Reef City Roller Girls. What's becoming a tradition of the 4-wall by 2, although Reef City only have 3 blockers in this jam. This puts them at a slight disadvantage.
They don't seem to see it as much of a disadvantage.
No, they really don't. The Southside Derby Dolls jammer seems to go straight for those 3 blockers. Gets held back, allowing Reef City through and picking up lead jammer.
And the jam's called off there. Reef City take 2. You're seeing Apollonia Thunderpussy making her way to the Rydell Skates penalty box.
Long Lash Massacre lining up against Mini Mousica. This is going to be a tongue twister of a jam.
Mini Mousica sounds kind of sweet and kind of scary at the same time. And both jammers taking their time before pushing into the backs of these defensive walls. Long Lash Massacre doing a bit of her own blocking on Mini Mousica.
That's right. Blocking for a minute and then changing straight over into jam mode. But she doesn't quite get through and is knocked to the outside, recycled to the back of the pack.
Not only is this jam a mouthful, but I've just noticed that they're both, there's Mousica and Massacre. And Long Lash Massacre for Reef City takes out the front of the pack. She's the lead jammer. And Mini Mousica now being told that she has cut the track. She'll spend half the next minute in the Rydell Skates penalty box.
2 of Reef City's blockers are now in the box as well.
Reef City have the power jam, but also the 50% pack disadvantage.
I don't think it's going to make much difference though, because Reef City have just been playing this game where they stand still and they let their jammer do the work and hope that by keeping the pack back, the jammer will be able to get through.
Here we go now with Fraulein Fierce trying to make a hole for Long Lash Massacre. Great job here by Reef City here to manage the pack as well. Something I noticed in their previous games, they've just got a great idea of where they are and judging those distances on the track to keep themselves in play. But all of the skaters back on the track now.
Southside trying to form a bit of a 3-wall.
Come to a virtual standstill here now at the front of the pack. The Long Lash Massacre is through for another 5-point pass. And Mini Mousica looks like she may not have picked up any points for that one. That's opened up the scoreboard a little bit though. Looks like a 44-16 lead to Reef City.
The lead still isn't massive, but for this stage of the game it is getting big. Southside Derby Dolls are going to have to change their tactics up a little bit to try to bring that back down. Le Mans goes for a block straight off the whistle.
Not the first time we've seen that from Reef City in this game.
And Ankle-Biter having a bit of a tussle with that 4-wall. She's getting a little bit of her help from one of her blockers.
And Le Mans comes up on the inside. No, she's heading outside the track and heading to the Rydell Skates penalty box. So Southside will have the power jam.
Le Mans has used her forearms. Thumper also sent to the box, allowing Southside Derby Dolls through with lead jammer.
Southside now with the power jam and the pack advantage. And look at the great job they're doing, goading. That's Cataclysm at the back there.
Repossess sent off with forearms. Looks like the Reef City have to work a little bit on their forearms. Southside Derby Dolls picking up another 5 points.
Ankle-Biter feints to the inside, quickly changes direction to the outside, finds the hole, skating around the long way around turn 2, takes another 5-point scoring pass in this power jam for Southside Derby Dolls.
They really need these extra points. This is looking like an excellent jam for them. It could really start bringing things back.
Especially if they can start to off-balance this Reef City team a little bit. They've, in that jam, Reef City showed a bit of a propensity to use the forearms and get a bit scrappy in the pack and paid the price in penalties. If Southside can keep them a little bit off-balance, that might work in their favour.
And we've got Smiling Chaos lining up for Reef City. And number 6, Por Favor, lining up for the Southside Derby Dolls.
You're welcome. and we're having an official timeout. You know what I love about official timeouts, Dr. Brain?
Does it have something to do with sponsorship?
Oh, yes, it does. And a big shout out to, you've heard us say it a few times, the Rydell Skates. They own the penalty box here on the track 1 at the Wayville Pavilion. They've been around for ages, 65 plus years and 3 generations of family ownership. So they know skates.
That's right. And another one of our sponsors is BSS, Light Audio Visual. Without them, you wouldn't be able to see the game or hear us. So that's swings and roundabouts, I suppose.
Thanks, BSS.
Looks like our teams are lining up again, ready to go. We've got Smiling Chaos for Reef City. And Por Favor lining up for Southside Derby Dolls.
Repossessed for Reef City, the only occupant of the penalty box at the moment. Looks like she's about to be joined by 357 Longlash Massacre for what appears to have been a multiplayer block.
And Por Favor is put through with lead jammer. She's lapping at the Reef City jammer.
No pack is called, allowing Por Favor out the front. She's taken the 5 points.
Smiling Chaos still having difficulty at the back of the pack. She's been recycled right back by Southside.
Smiling Chaos taking some hits from those purple-clad defenders.
That's right, she's knocked again to the outside.
Por Favor taking those Reef City blockers out of play. It's another 5 points. Once again, lapping that Reef City jammer.
Ominous is sent to the box for an IP.
Dr. Brain, that scoring pass has put Southside Derby Dolls in front of Reef City for the first time in this game.
That's amazing. That happened without us even really noticing that it was starting to happen. But this game is really turning around now for Southside. And they're picking up another 5 points. They're headed for the lead by quite a distance now.
Yeah, we've got Longlash Massacre heading off to the penalty box as well. Yet another Reef City blocker heading off to the penalty box.
Reef City seem to be having a lot of difficulty with penalties at the moment.
They did foul out 3 of their players in their last game in the semi-final.
Por Favor comes around and hits the 3 wall that Reef City have set up for her.
And finally that jam is end. What a monster jam that was for Southside. The crowd are loving it.
Ominous sent to the box again. Longlash Massacre still in the box but standing up. This gives Southside Derby Dolls a strong pack advantage, at least for the first few seconds of this jam.
He's watching Smiling Chaos head slowly back to the bench after that last one, and I saw
Reef City Jammer knocks out the Southside Jammer to the outside and skates all the way around the pack.
And I know that in the clarifications I've seen on this particular event, the Southside Jammer does not have to pursue her around the inside. She just has to wait. She doesn't have to play that game, and she's choosing not to, being told to stay exactly put.
Well, Southside are ahead at the moment. If Southside are ahead, why do they care if they run down the clock?
Obi Hun Kenobi just having a chat to Flash Dancer here. And all they've got to do is wait for that jammer to come back. Here she is.
And Reef City Jammer hits a 3-wall at the back of the pack. It's a very dynamic 3-wall. There's a lot of hits. One of the Reef City blockers, though, comes in to help. Breaks it up a little bit. Southside still through with the lead, though.
Flash Dancer, after waiting for that lap to be caught back up, is lead jammer. But not by much. Fraulein Fierce. Oh, a turn behind her at best. But look at the speed of this wall.
It is really a fast pack at the moment. And there's a bit of a bad fall. We'll see if there's a penalty arising from that.
Yeah.
And there is.
So that will mean Reef City will be starting this next jam. That's Le Mans. She'll be starting on a power jam.
Southside Derby Doll is calling a timeout. They're still ahead by quite a few points, 18 points.
Another one of our sponsors at the Great Southern Slam is Isogenics. They're a complete and simple system of nutritional cleansing that provides support for athletes and armchair athletes. Like,
That's us.
yeah, and all those people at home. Olympic gold medalists Natalie Cook and Jana Pittman both use Isogenics to lose body fat, gain lean muscle, and boost performance. Isogenics has solutions for weight loss, energy and performance, youthful aging, and financial freedom. If you want to be in your best shape ever, talk to Bev and Maurice at their stall and ask them what it could do for you.
And also quite a lot of members of the Little Adelaide Rollers in the audience tonight. They're also one of our sponsors. Underage with Derby Rage. They're an amazing league, and if you're ever in Adelaide, come by and see them. If you live in Adelaide, join them. If you have anybody, well, if you're under 18.
That's right. Yeah, 8 to 17 you can join Little Adelaide Rollers.
They're an amazing league, and they do great community service as well.
And I had a terrible time before trying to say Little Adelaide Rollers penalty box with Wollongong Illawarra in it. So Le Mans starting this power jam now for Reef City.
Reef City needs to get a few more points on the board, and this could give them the opportunity to do it.
They dominated early in the period, but then have started to get a little bit messy, racking up some penalties.
That's right, just picking up too many penalties. Now they've got to go, they're going to hold back that pack. They can control the pack. They're going to give Sydney side as little space as possible to block their jammer.
Bacardi Bruiser at the back of that pack being goated, not being too fussed about being the goat, just waiting for Le Mans to come back through and hit her. That's the jam. 3 more are added for Reef City and none for Southside on that last pass. We're still neck and neck. There's 2 points in it. Under 10 minutes left to go in this first period of the Division 2 Grand Final at the Great Southern Slam 2014.
Reef City only has 3 blockers against Southside's 4.
Fräulein Fierce will be doing the jamming for Reef City.
Danny Hill for Southside.
Fräulein Fierce looking for a gap on the outside, but those blockers turning around, doing some assisted blocking.
Meanwhile, Danny Hill is recycled right to the back of the pack by the Reef City blockers. And Reef City's through with lead.
Once she gets past those blockers, she puts on some speed. Repossessed, number 2 for Reef City, just being released from the box in time for that jam to end.
Reef City picks up another 3 points. Southside, 0.
So the next jam for not the too manyth time for this game. The penalty box will be empty.
That's right, and we've got the 2x4 walls lining up. Smiling Chaos for Reef City. And Por Favor lining up for Southside.
We've got the Derby faces on.
There's a harsh wall that Por Favor's coming up against.
That was a hard wall. There was no giving that whatsoever. But Tequila shot giving Por Favor as much help as possible through that wall. Some of the other purple-clad blockers coming back to help her now. She is lead jammer.
Bit of jammer on jammer action. Por Favor trying to push Smiling Chaos back into the pack.
We're going to see her feed the baby, and there it is.
Yeah. Not quite successful as Reef City manages to whip their jammer out again around the front of the pack. In fact, Smiling Chaos seems to pick up a bit of extra speed.
So we'll see her slowing down again.
Southside is in the lead. They're happy to run down the clock and beat around the opposing jammer.
Por Favor doing a great job trying to feed the opposing jammer back into the pack, but the S2D2 pack unable to catch up. 147 ankle biter will be jamming again for Southside. Fräulein Fierce wearing the yellow panty with the red star for Reef City.
Both teams only have 3 blockers on the track. but the south side blocker is standing, so she won't be very long in the box, in the right L penalty box.
In fact, there she goes now.
Ankle biter gets a cutting penalty and she's sent to the right L penalty box. This means we've got a power jam situation. The Reef City jammer is coming around for a second pass. She's hitting a static pack. Reef City happy to stand still and let the opposing blockers be pushed outside of the engagement zone. Another 5 points to Reef City.
Once again, the stationary pack. A solid four-wall, waterfalling Fraulein Fierce around. She gets past them now. Another scoring pass.
Thumper giving some heavy blocks to Ankle Biter to the outside. One of the Reef City blockers is sent out. Two of the Reef City blockers sent off. They're going to spend a little bit of time in the right L penalty box.
Repossessed and ominous Ohms.
There's some impressive blocking from a Thunder...
Apollonia Thunder Pussy.
Apollonia Thunder Pussy. Sorry for that. Thunder Pussy. Some impressive blocking. A little bit of a spin while she did it and a lot of force. But she goes down.
And a stylish backward somersault on the track at the end.
Oh, that's right. Fraulein sent to the box, which allows Ankle Biter to be released.
It looks like Fraulein Fierce sent to the box for a forearms penalty, which is something that a couple of these Reef City girls have been doing in this game.
That's right, they've been getting a lot of forearm penalties.
There we go. Ankle Biter is through now. She takes 5 points from that pass. Reef City still able to hang on to 4.
Repossessed. Chase the jammer out the front of the pack.
Oh, Dr. Brain, look at the
and
scoreboard.
She's been sent to the box.
Reef City have retaken the lead.
It's 2 points in it.
So I'm informed by the crowd, quite reliable.
S2D2 only has 2 blockers on the track. Reef City has 3.
Those blockers are mixing it up amongst themselves before the whistle's even gone. All lucky to escape a illegal procedure or a false start there.
Reef City has the lead, but S2D2 is in front.
Por Favor showed herself quite willing in this situation a couple of jams ago to try and slow down and feed the baby back into the pack. Still not sure I approve of the term feeding the baby.
We just call it eat the baby, which is a different grammatical tense, but otherwise the same concept.
Yes. But this pack has sped right up. Reef City not willing to let Por Favor catch up and take any more points. Trying to run down the clock with only 3.5 minutes left in this period.
Smiling Case has decided she wants the jam to continue.
And Por Favor just taking a whip off Bacardi Bruiser into the back of that yellow wall. Pushed off on the outside there around turn 2. She'll have to go further back than she first thought.
Both jammers having difficulty getting through with such a fast pack. Smiling Chaos's call seems to have paid off. She's picked up 4 points and she's coming around for another pass. She's trusted her blockers to keep back the S2D2.
And she is stopped in her tracks.
I spoke too soon. She has been knocked to the ground.
And that's Bacardi Bruiser living up to a name and inflicting some bruises on the chest of that jammer. Up on the toe stops, pushing back.
She finally gives up the block when she's worried about creating a no-pack situation or going out in front of the engagement zone.
And just at the end of that jam, that looks like Repossessed is being called for some penalty, which has left one of the skaters on the ground. That's Por Favor.
And she looks like she's okay.
That jam had already concluded, I think then. It wasn't called dead for an injury, so Por Favor will be able to continue in subsequent jams.
That's right. The force is calling an official review, though. I'm not sure what that will be about.
I think they may go for a misconduct on that last hit.
Yes, that's certainly possible. I didn't see it closely enough myself, but it was certainly a very heavy hit.
And quite late. So that ruling we were just alluding to, if a jam is called dead by officials for an injured skater, then that particular skater is unable to rejoin the game for the next 3 jams.
That's right. It's to stop people from deliberately getting the jam called off by faking an injury, basically. But it does, of course, it goes against those people that have been injured, obviously, if they haven't been injured very badly. Now, it might be some time to do my favourite bit of my commentating, which is a shout out to Hellcat Clothing. They make all things Lycra, made by Go-Go Fiasco. She's slightly better at making Lycra items even than I am. I've had a lot of chats with her about making Lycra unitards.
Not only that, I've seen your sequin work, Dr. Brain.
Yeah.
Leaves a little to be desired.
Well, I at the last TGSS, you would have seen me skating around in some tight Lycra pants. They were not made by Hellcat Clothing. If they were made by Hellcat Clothing, they would have been much more professional, probably slightly less revealing.
I've got to say, my tight Lycra, I've never used it for anything like roller skating.
But yes, if you or your team want something that's great to skate in, professionally made, but also customised to your specific needs, buy a derby skater. Go-Go Fiasco is quite a good skater herself. She knows what you need. Go and talk to her for yourself or your team.
And some of the fantastic images you'll see emanating from this Great Southern Slam in 2014 can be found on Suitcase Photography on Facebook, facebook.com/Suitcase Photography. I'm forgetting words now. This is the second time.
That's just how excited you are.
It's the second time that Suitcase Photography have supported the Great Southern Slam. The 4th year that they've been supporting Adelaide Roller Derby in general. So jump on there, look at some of the brilliant images, not just of roller derby, but wildlife and nature photography, portraits and pin-ups, and sumptuous food photography.
Looks like our official review is over. We'll try to listen in to what happened.
We've got some clarification on that.
So the time is whistled back on now. We're going to have Danny Hell jamming for Southside. And Fraulein Fierce for Reef City.
Yes, that official review was asking for the forearm call to be upgraded to a misconduct. But the original stand calls. The original call stands.
Either way, the stand calls and the call stands. And
standing call.
Danny Hell is out in front. She's the lead jammer for Southside. She's trying to push her wall forward, get them to the front of the pack and slow this pack down. With Fraulein Fierce. Yes, she's holding up 2 fingers, and so is the jammer ref. It's nice when they agree. It's good to see a nice fast pack there, and the jammers coming into the fast pack even faster. Mini Mousica, 666 for Southside. And Smile and Chaos, 65 for Reef City.
2 Reef City blockers in the box, 1 for the Southside, all of them standing. They're about to come back into the track.
Tell you what, those Reef City seats in the penalty box will be staying warm this period at least. But Smile and Chaos is the lead jammer despite the pack deficit. She's a good half a lap. And she's back amongst the pack now. Mini Mousica still on an initial and taking 4 points there, Smiling Chaos.
That's right, she just jumps through the inside of the pack, pulls it off. Oh, sorry, we've been upgraded to 5 points because Southside were on their initial pass.
Skating back to the bench area there now. We just see Bacardi Bruiser holding her face. She may have taken a bit of a hit to the head there somewhere. Going to pop an ice pack on that for a little while. Meanwhile, back on the track, 14, Flash Dancer is jamming for Southside, and Thumper, 304, welcome to the jammer line today, and take lead jammer, why don't you? So this pack strung out now, and Reef City slowing down at the front of the pack. Oh, Thumper takes a hit. She's down.
Two of the Southside blockers are finding their way to the box, and one of them is standing. That means the next jam will be starting with just one blocker on the track.
Yeah, 25's Winnie Bruise, the last Southside blocker to be sent into the bin for that hit that she laid on 304 Thumper. And we've gone to half-time while I wasn't looking, Dr. Brain.
We were just too intently watching the excitement on the track, and hasn't it been an exciting game? Both teams relatively neck and neck, or at least the lead is changing quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. It's been to and fro. I've got to think, though, that if Reef City don't tidy up some of their penalties, then Southside are going to take it away in the second half and just steadily increase their lead.
Reef City have really been showing that they have good control over their pack work. They have good understanding of what's going on, generally. They're doing good strategy. It's simple strategy, but it's working, and they're doing it as a team. But individually, they're getting too many penalties.
Yeah, a little bit too much forearms and hand action going on in the pack in particular. So in the meantime, why don't you head off to the fridge, grab yourself a 4X if you're in Cairns.
Or a Hill Cider, who are sponsoring the after party that none of our listeners are going to go to, so I probably shouldn't mention it.
Oh, you should, because then next time they'll come to the Great Southern Slam.
That's true, and maybe they can have their own after party by drinking a few Hill Ciders.
That's right, get out to the bottle shop now. That's Hill's Cider.
We'll be back in 13 minutes.
And thanks for your patience here on track 1 at the Great Southern Slam, the Division 2 Grand Final. You may have thought that we were having an extra long half-time break. I can tell you that what we had to do was censor the half-time entertainment. No, I'm joking. We were evacuated from the Adelaide Showgrounds. An alert and then an evacuation tone sounded. I'm sure you'll all be seeing pictures probably up on Facebook very soon of a massive crowd of roller derby skaters, fans and officials making their way out to the grassed area.
That's right. I think, Bob, you were getting a little bit too excited and dancing a little bit too much. Maybe created some sparks.
Yeah, I like to think that I was just dancing so sexy they had to turn off the YouTube.
People listening to this at home don't realise that you are known as the dancing commentator because you're constantly just dancing while.
That's right. Sometimes I'm surprised that I'm able to talk through all the physicality that I'm going through at any given time.
So yep, another 8 minutes to our half-time while the teams re-warm up. They've been standing in the cold in their bout fits.
Yeah, and unfortunately the rules of the venue state that everybody had to take their skates off to go outside and evacuate. So everybody's been skates off outside, standing in the cold. So the officials have agreed to extend the half-time break as long as possible, bearing in mind that people have planes to catch and all that sort of good gear that happens at the end of a tournament. Well, I noticed not too long ago, Dr. Brain, that it's an all-boy commentary crew for this entire bout. Even the live in-house guys have got 3 fellas up there.
That's extremely rare in this hall. We do have quite a female-heavy commentating team with ADRD.
Yeah, I've been loving some of the commentary that's been going on in-house here this weekend in this tournament. Lots of crowd interaction and heckling.
It certainly has been interesting. It's always interesting to get a big, diverse group of voices together. And it gives us all an opportunity to get to know each other and learn how other people work. I've had a great time here all weekend. I've had a great time at other TGSSs I've been to, but this is the first one I've commentated. I was an official at the last 2, mainly on challenge tracks. I'm not that good, so mainly on challenge tracks. And in fact, in the first TGSS, I even skated in a game on the challenge tracks.
Ah, is that true? Well,
yeah.
My take on it always has been, Dr. Brain, that sucking at something is the first step of being kind of okay at something.
I wouldn't say I sucked at anything, but I will be back at officiating soon, but have been taking quite a bit of time off and focusing on commentating this year. And for much of last year.
Excellent. Yeah, this is my first Great Southern Slam, and what a great weekend I've had. All 3 days here, 45 leagues, 5 tracks at the Adelaide Showgrounds.
It's over 1,000 skaters, and we'll probably see most of those people filling up the stands for the grand final coming up next. In fact, most of them are already here for the Division 2 Grand Final, but the Division 1 Grand Final, those few stragglers that haven't quite made it yet will be showing up. We'll be having a really packed house. It's an amazing venue here once again. That can't be said enough. Crowd getting psyched up, getting ready to get back into it. We've still got 5 minutes on the halftime clock.
Skaters and officials taking the opportunity to warm back up. They will, of course, go through their gear safety checks before they're allowed to go back on skating for the second period. I'm not sure how much of it was caught on the video feed before this game began, but there was a fair bit of dancing going on around the track. I think it was Canberra Roller Derby League doing a nice thriller over on the outside of the track around turns 3 and 4.
It's been an amazing vibe all weekend, a lot of audience interaction. There was a dance-off yesterday, an impromptu dance-off. I blame misinformed, but It was completely unplanned.
I blame misinformed for many things.
That's a wise option, really. You'll probably win that bet if you make it often enough.
It's just a numbers game, really. It's going to happen.
That's right. Some of the refs are strutting their stuff on the track, warming themselves up. Getting ready for what's going to be a pretty intense second half. We've still got just 16 points in it, which is tiny, truly tiny.
Truly tiny. This is the Division 2 Grand Final at the Great Southern Slam, live on YouTube from the Adelaide Showgrounds, the Wavell Pavilion.
Both teams lining up again for their safety checks. The refs are just seeing if anyone's become unsafe. Apparently the building became unsafe for a while there, but that has been checked. The fire brigade has done their own safety check.
And for some time the pack was not here.
That's right.
Some of the crowd members starting to set up some opposing chants in support of these teams. Just looking at some of the play heading into this second period, we were talking earlier in the game, Dr. Brain, about the rather penalty-heavy activity from the yellow team, the Reef City skaters.
That's right. It's been a thorn in their side, this game. Otherwise playing excellently and still managing to keep themselves ahead. But they simply have been getting a few too many penalties.
Yeah, really good pack awareness and really good distance judgment, being able to bridge really effectively, keep their blockers in play so that the opposing jammers have to bridge as far back as possible.
That's right. One of the Reef City girls, Repossessed, is currently on 6 penalties. So she'll be one to watch. She is close to fouling out of the game. There's another 2 that are pretty close as well.
Earlier in the day, the Division 2 semi-final that Reef City won, the 3 of their skaters in fact fouled out of that game, achieving 7 penalties.
Thumper now lining up on the track for Reef City Roller Girls. Danny Hell taking her place for Southside Derby Dolls.
And after an extended evacuation field halftime break, here at Track 1, we will be getting back underway with this Division 2 Grand Final in a matter of moments.
S2D2 have 3 blockers in the box, and you might ask, how is that possible? One of them is standing, allowing another blocker to take her seat. So they'll be starting with just 1 blocker on the track for a few seconds before Killer Bee makes her way back on.
And that lone blocker trying to take up a position in lane 4 3/4 is Darth Hader.
She's ignoring the opposition jammer and just trying to open a space for her own, but the Reef City jammer gets through and takes lead.
I think this may be the second time that Thumper has worn the jammer panty in this game. And in fact the second time that she's gotten lead jammer out of it.
Danny Hell having a bit of a difficult time, has a bit of a stumble and goes down to the ground. I think she dropped a coin. Thumper's through with another 5 points.
Dropped a coin, is that a euphemism?
Technically, yes. Thumper coming around for another go at the pack. She's having a little bit of difficulty with a 4-ball at the back.
And just paying a little visit to the crowd. Danny Hell still on her initial, unable to make her way past these Reef City blockers.
Reef City recycles right back to the back of the pack. Thumper's still having difficulty getting past just that one last blocker, and now another couple have joined her and are recycling her to the back of the pack. She decides to call it off before any damage is done.
Yeah, sometimes it's just easier to whack the hips and call off the jam.
21 points separating our 2 teams now.
Fräulein Fierce is going to be jamming for Reef City this time through. And that's A2 Aphrodite. This may be her first jam in this game that I've seen.
There's some assisted blocking going on there. Number 8 is for S2D2, guiding her code blockers around. Reef City's through. Oh no, but she doesn't have lead.
And Aphrodite is being sent off to the penalty box for cutting the track.
This is going to be a power jam situation, but Reef City does not have the capability of calling this off because they did not get lead.
At least with the shorter 30-second penalties now, it's not liable to last quite so long.
No, that's right, but this will take the full 2 minutes, this jam.
Tequila shot called for a multiplayer block. She'll be spending the next half a minute in the penalty box next to Aphrodite.
Fräulein Fierce through with another 5 points. The pack is stalled.
Reef City now over the 100-point mark. That last pass took them to 107. And she gets through here. Although the jammer has now been released from the block. 5 points scored against S2D2.
Bit of a tussle. No pack is called briefly. Killer Bones finds her way sent to the right L penalty box. Reef City picks up another 4 points. S2D2 is still on their initial pass, or just past their initial pass, coming into their second. Haven't scored yet.
Fräulein Fierce remembering that she's not lead and ignoring the shouted advice from her benchmates to call off the jam.
Fräulein Fierce picks up another 4 points.
And the jam timer concludes.
There was rather a heavy block there. I was just waiting to see if that was after the whistle. It was definitely very close. We've got Smiling Chaos lining up for Reef City, up against Danny Hell for S2D2.
All 10 skaters starting on the track for this jam.
Danny Hell trying to find her way through, trying to push her way through that full wall. She's having a lot of difficulty. Full wall is broken up by one of her blockers though. She gets through.
And once she gets through, doesn't she put some speed on?
That's right, she gets down, she gets fierce.
There we go, Smiling Chaos assisted through the pack there by, it looks like Long Lash Massacre.
There's a very fast pack at the moment. The pack is almost split with Reef City running up ahead. There's a goat held at the back of the pack though.
Danny Hell pushed out on the outside at turn 2. Calls off the jam from her knees.
I always think it's the sign of a truly great derby player when they can call it off in weird situations.
Flying through the air horizontally.
That's probably the best one. Lying on their back on the track. Anything involving a lot of pain, basically. They can still think of the game.
Thumper's been given the star panty for Reef City. She'll be jamming. And Por Favor
having a difficult time getting through that 4 wall of Reef City, but she finally manages to get through. She's past her initial pass now.
And if my chicken scratching stats here are anything to go by, this is Thumper's 3rd jam and her 3rd time as lead jammer.
Massacre for Reef City has been sent to the right L penalty box. She'll be spending 30 seconds there. Thunder does a little bit of a dance around the inside. Calls it off. Picks up 3 points. S2D2 picks up 2.
That last penalty there for Long Lash Massacre. Yet another forearms for Reef City. Something that they will probably be looking at in training in the coming weeks. And that is in fact her 6th penalty today.
Fräulein Fierce lining up against Danny Hell on the jam line.
Just over 23 minutes left to go in this Division 2 Grand Final. And we have a lead jammer very, very quickly before the pivot line.
Danny Hill managed to just slip on through the inside. Reef City still having difficulty getting through those opposing blockers. Fraulein Fierce is knocked to the outside. She comes back in again though and is called for cutting. But one of the other refs seems to think that it was a no pass, no penalty, and the jam ref has decided that is the case and called the jammer back on.
Yeah, not very often you see the call overruled like that, but yeah, overruled in that case, called as a no pass, no penalty.
That's right, and it doesn't, it's not technically an overruling, but it is the jam ref getting new information and adjusting their call. They do still have the final say.
Excellent.
But still, extremely, extremely rare. I haven't seen that happen in a very long time, if ever, actually. Thumper battling at the back of the pack.
I just heard one of the in-house announcers saying that Thumper is Spanish for points. I doubt that it's correct, but it's nice to think. Por favor, Spanish for please.
Por favor gets through with lead jammer though. Thumper coming up behind her, just about 30 feet behind.
Southside have a goat there in Cataclysm.
That's
and
right.
I like a stylish call-off like that.
It's a very nice work from Southside, holding that goat back, making sure that the pack doesn't accelerate out of control, allowing their jammer to pick up the full 4 points and then call it off quickly. Danny Hill now lining up against Fraulein Fierce.
Reef City waiting to the very last 5-second call to get all of their blockers on track. And Fraulein Fierce is doing the jamming for Reef City. Danny Hell doing the jamming for S2D2, The Force.
Smiling Chaos there, trying to call a cutting herself, but apparently the outside pack ref has agreed that it is actually...
It's a forearms.
I know it's a forearms.
On Danny Hell. Which gives Fraulein Fierce lead jammer. Oh, pushes her way out. She was straddling there. I thought for a moment she might come back in and get a cutting.
It's up against quite a heavy four wall with some reverse blocking and control. Bit of mother heading there from number 25, Winnie Bruce.
Although we see the strength of Reef City's defence there again, preventing their jammer from being cycled backwards.
Danny Hill now coming back into the game. Fraulein Fierce hasn't managed to capitalise on that power jam situation. She's only just got in lead and picked up... Did she pick up 5 points there? Is that... Yes.
Yes, that is 5 points. And ankle biter for Southside will be spending a little bit of time in the Rydell Skates penalty box. Looks like an elbows call on her. And there is the call of the jam. 4 more points added for Reef City. That's going to take them to 139. Still maintaining a handy little buffer over S2D2 at this time on 95.
That's right, it has stretched out a little bit, but there's still 20 minutes more in this game. That's more than enough for S2D2 to come back and pick up those points.
This jam's going to see Flash Dancer for Southside and Thumper being put on high rotation as a jammer for Reef City. Yeah, she's putting some real push on that wall, and she's eventually taken off on the outside. But Flashdance is the lead jammer.
Thumper is through, but there's a full lap in between her and the opposing jammer. And the pack is speeding up.
And Flash Dancer's taking the points, muscling her way through that Reef City defence and whacking the hips.
Smiling Chaos lining up for Reef City. Reef City quick onto the jam line.
Want to get that strong wall in position.
We've got Aphrodite lining up for the Force.
Sitting in the penalty box at the start of this jam for Southside is Fairy Bled.
Smiling Chaos does a little jump to the outside around her own blockers, but then hits a 4-wall of R2D2. She tussles with them a little bit and manages to pull a cut.
Just incredible, the jammer ref for Reef City in this period, indicating the cut. Oh, and
Southside also, Aphrodite with a cut. Smiling Chaos is released from the box as soon as Aphrodite sits down.
it won't be a long stay for Aphrodite either. So everybody back on the track now. Walls have a couple of seconds to reform and settle themselves. Smiling Chaos managing. Oh, Winnie Blues taking her out of the jammer line. Winnie Blues using her forearms to do so. I think I just said Winnie Blues there, didn't I?
I think you did.
Winnie Brews.
The Force have 2 blockers sitting in the box now. And a third one heading in.
So she makes it to the box by the time one of these existing blockers is standing in their last 10 seconds of penalty. She will sit down, leaving one blocker on the track for Southside. And it's Haterade. What a cracker job she's doing out there on her own, trying to help her jammer through the pack. Smiling Chaos trying to go one-footed through on the inside. Getting away with it.
That's right, we've got a low block called on one of the S2D2 blockers. And another one heading to the box. It really seems in the second half that Southside Derby Dolls are the ones pulling all of the penalties.
That was Winnie Brews on her way back in as well, just been sent back onto the track to await a position in the penalty box.
Smiling Chaos picks up 4 points and then cools it off.
The Southside Derby Dolls still yet to crack the 100 mark. Reef City still only on 153. It is certainly not too late for the Force to come back.
We got Fraulein Fierce lining up against Por Favor. Southside only has 2 blockers on the track. And an official timeout is called.
I'm seeing one of the refs, Alex Van Dorn there, indicating to the penalty box officials that Winnie Brews may be serving consecutive penalties. Can't quite make out the board to see what that's for.
They work well.
They sure do. Without which that little walk wouldn't have been possible.
Fraulein Fierce and Por Favor waiting patiently on the jam line. The clock hasn't yet been whistled back on. Refs and officials still trying to sort out Winnie Brews's penalty status.
The Southside blockers seem to be staying face to face with their competitors. They're ready to take them on. They don't mind that there's just 2 of them. Fraulein Fierce having a little bit of difficulty from some reverse blocking she's going up against. But she's through and gets lead.
And Por Favor will be filling up the purple side of the penalty box.
Fraulein Fierce picks up another 5 points.
think that's the first visit to the penalty box for Por Favor as well.
Southside has now finally a full complement of blockers, but it's still a power jam for just a few seconds in Fraulein Fierce's favour.
Got all the blockers, just need a jammer now. She's released from the penalty box. Reef City blockers stretched out as far as they can possibly go backwards.
Por Favor doing her some remarkable lateral motion there, jumping side to side, trying to get around the opposing blockers. Not quite managing though.
Winnie Brews will be paying another visit to the penalty box. She'll take the opportunity to adjust her skate lace, but that was another forearms penalty. So again, showing a few of the signs of maybe some fatigue and weariness, getting a little bit scrappy in the packs.
Fraulein Fierce picks up another 5 points and she's around into the back of the pack.
Fraulein Fierce calling off the jam.
We've got Long Lash Massacres being sent to the box for a forearms.
And if I'm not mistaken, that may be the 7th penalty for Long Lash Massacre. So we may be seeing her heading away from this skate track very, very shortly.
The refs are certainly having a chat with her.
That is the case. Long Lash Massacre for Reef City Roller Derby. Saying goodbye to her teammates for the rest of this Division 2 Grand Final.
That's right, she's fouling out of the game. Hopefully someone will buy her a beer.
Malice and Mayhem heading off to the penalty box to serve the remainder of that penalty time.
Such a key component of the Reef City defence.
Well, this is like the 50th game they played this weekend. So I'm sure everyone out there on the track right now is tired.
So Long Lash Massacre on the way off.
Thumper lining up against Danny Hell on the jam line. Very dense pack, a very low pack. Everyone seems to be trying to get as low as they can. There's some assisted blocking.
I'm just hearing the refs informing us that Long Lash Massacre, who was the captain of Reef City, now the captaincy has been passed to Smiling Chaos for the remainder of this bout.
And we've got Thumper being sent off for a forearms block. This is a power jam situation for Southside. It really might help them get some points on the board.
Danny Hill through the defence now. She takes a 5-point scoring pass that gets S2D2.
S2D2 is trying to hold their goat back, which is Killer Bones right at the back of the pack, being held back by a 3-wall. They're working really hard to keep her there. She gets past them.
Another 5 points for Southside. They're on 109 now.
But Thumper's gone through her first pass of the pack. She's coming up quickly behind.
Danny Hill calls off the jam before Thumper can make her way around for any scoring.
S2D2 does manage to get 3 more points on the board. And now we've got Flash Dancer lining up again against Fraulein Fierce.
11.5 minutes left to go in this grand final.
Good reverse blocking there from Southside. And they managed to hold that blocker back. Sorry, hold that jammer back. Almost split the pack by holding them back, in fact.
And Flash Dancer is through as lead jammer for Southside.
Fraulein Fierce coming about a half a track behind her.
Oh, she comes in low into the back of that blocker. She will serve some time in the Rydell Skates penalty box for a low block. That was Cataclysm at the back of the pack there.
Fraulein Fierce having a bit of difficulty getting through that final 3-wall. Her team's just holding back, letting her do her job. Another 5 points to Reef City.
Just in that last pass there, Flash Dancer almost appeared to stumble into the back of the pack there, immediately acknowledging that she had pulled a low block.
Another 5 points to Reef City.
Reef City using this power jam to extend their lead, now out to about 75.
They open up that 4-wall for just a second for their own jammer to get through before closing it down again as the opposing jammer reaches them. A lot of tussling in the pack.
Some fatigue starting to show on the faces of these skaters as well. And Flash Dancer, number 14, will be off to the penalty box as well.
With a back block. Reef City picking up another 5. They're extending their lead further.
And I think they're about to crack the 200 mark.
Looks like this one's going to follow suit because right now,
And Fairy Bled for Southside. She's going to visit the penalty box there.
That's right, that's an out-of-play penalty.
And the jam's called off. Reef City now over the 200 mark. 202. Leading Southside Derby Dolls, 115.
Timeout being called by the Southside Derby Dolls.
And that score there for Reef City now means that every game they have played this tournament, they have scored over 200 points.
So just a quick call out to one of our sponsors, Green Monster Roller Sports. It's a skate company whose total focus is to produce fresh ideas and innovative product design to the market of roller skating, specifically roller derby. They produce some of the best brands known in roller derby, including Reckless and Heartless skate wheels, the #1 toe stop in derby, Gumball toe stops, which actually are quite excellent. I've skated on them myself. They change the way you skate. Moto brand bearings and accessories, and Antic skate boots. Green Monster maintains a first-hand understanding of the derby industry by being totally submerged in every facet possible, including sponsoring the TGSS.
Good on sponsors. I buy things from them.
And it looks like we're back. Thumper on the track, lining up as jammer.
Yeah, Flash Dancer, jammer for the Force, still waiting it out in the Rydell Skates penalty box, but she's standing, so she won't be there for long.
And we've got Haterade Mother Henning her blockers. She's they're doing a 3-wheel, they're doing a triangle. She's grabbing her blockers and using them like gloves. Some really tough reverse blocking there from Death Hater.
And looks like Killer Bones a little bit slow to get up from that last block. Haterade is going to be visiting the penalty box. Let's see if I can see on the board what that one was for.
As is Thumper. Show No Mercy is also sent to the box. Southside Derby Dolls have a full box.
Back on the track there, Jammer able to make it through for another 5-point scoring pass as they take advantage of this power jam. Look at these two blockers here, just doing what they can to keep their goat trapped behind their 2-wall. Cataclysm able to spin her way past and catch up again.
Thumper darts to the outside, jumps back in. Outside pack ref is calling a multiplayer block penalty. I assume that's being called on the Reef City blocker coming now into the penalty box. Number 6, Le Mans.
All of these blockers being cycled straight back on to jam again in the subsequent jams.
That's right, it's a very sparse roster that they're running with. Fraulein Fierce lining up for Reef City, and number 6, Por Favor, lining up yet again for Southside Derby Dolls.
And Paul Favor is out. She's the lead jammer. About half a lap to go until she catches up with the spread out pack, taking a little while to reform. But there is a two-wall of Reef City skaters at the front.
Oh, she darts around them and picks up 4 points.
Doesn't spend much time with those guys at all.
We really always do love the crowd telling us when you go wrong. I did just have also been calling flash dance. Flash dancer. Yelling out flash dancer, flash dance. Sorry about that.
So Ankle Biter will be taking the jammer line. And Smiling Chaos towing the line for Reef City. And again, we've got a double four-wall of blockers. Reef City playing their larger blockers on lane 1. Somewhat different strategy to what we've seen some of the other teams playing this weekend.
Smiling Chaos having a bit of difficulty getting through the pack, but she does manage to pick up a lead jammer just at the front before getting sucked back in. Now she's just got Reef City in front of her. She takes a whip off Thumper, gets through.
Fraulein Fierce looks like she skipped over the south side jammer as she was on the floor.
That's right, and for a second there was no pack because she hit the ground.
Smiling Chaos thrusts her hips in front of the south side blockers and calls off the jam as she does so, takes all 4. So the fourth now on 129, Reef City on 207. Only 5 minutes left to go. It's almost to the stage where I'm thinking it might be too big a gap for Southside to chase.
Southside nevertheless is calling an official review.
While the official review is undertaken, I can talk about Faster Skates. They're donating some prizes for the raffle here at TGSS, and they're great supporters of Adelaide Roller Derby. So Faster Skates, you can maximise your grip, speed and edging with Faster's dual gyrometer wheels. If you're here this weekend, they're available right here at TGSS on the Sydney Derby skate stall, or check out fasterskates.com. True to the art. Faster.
We've also got Radar Wheels, who are giving us some products for the after party, actually, that none of you are going to be at. Still, Radar Wheels, they're good. Looks like we've got Fraulein Fierce lining up for Reef City. She's up against number 6, Por Favor, skating for Southside Derby Dolls.
Southside Derby Dolls, I'm hearing, called that official review just to double check the procedure for reassigning captaincy on the foul out of the captain. I also wonder if they were maybe using the official timeout to regroup and have a little bit of a rest. Since they only have, it looks like one timeout left, one team timeout left. Southside, Por Favor through. She's taking 5 points. The Southside blockers still trapping the Reef City jammer in the pack, doing some good talking to each other in the pack there, telling each other where the jammer's about to be.
Southside pivot being sent off.
And I'm seeing Repossessed number 2 being sent to the penalty box, which will be her 7th penalty. So Repossessed for Reef City is about to be leaving this game.
I'd like to say thanks to Haig's Chocolates, who've supplied a number of chocolates to feed our referees. They'd be unable to do their job otherwise. In fact, I'd often be unable to do my job. If it weren't for Haig's chocolates, I'd probably just be Mr. Brain MA rather than Dr. Brain PhD. I would never have been able to pull all of those all-nighters without some chocolate-coated coffee beans.
And the crowd here farewells Repossessed as she fouls out of this grand final.
5 seconds cooled.
That's Ankle Biter jamming for Southside and Thumper jamming once again for Reef City.
Ankle Biter shoots straight forward, picks up lead. Thumper coming, well, about half a lap behind.
And the Reef City defenders just regrouping at the front of the pack there. But Ankle Biter able to pick up 2 points and keep Thumper from scoring any.
Apollyonia Thunderpussy has been sent to the box. The refs are having a little bit of a chat to her.
Yeah, I think it's her 7th too.
I noticed she was having a little chat to some of the crowd members on the way through. I'm pretty certain she knew it was her 7th as well.
Meanwhile, in the Reef City bench area, Malison Mayhem has fallen off a chair. You might not have seen that at home, but we see everything right here, and we've got the microphones. So yet another skater fouls out.
Smiling Chaos lining up against Por Favor. Southsider 2 blockers down. Bacardi Cruiser is standing though. Por Favor knocked to the outside. She recycles to the back of the pack, but then no pack is called, meaning she can come back in. Smiling Chaos slips through the pack in the meantime, picking up the lead. Jammer.
She's not too focused to take a couple of seconds to rev up the crowd on her way past.
Reef City picks up 4 points.
Just under 3 minutes left in this game.
You can probably hear Chief Intent through our microphones. He's announcing in-house here that there's just under 3 minutes left to go in this game. Still 71 points, the margin. Ankle Biter will be doing her darndest to reduce that deficit somewhat.
Fraulein Fierce will be trying to increase it.
Oh, and there's a Mexican wave going around this arena. Fraulein Fierce is the lead jammer for Reef City. Ankle Biter now through the pack. She is not the lead jammer. I'm seeing Flash Dancer heading around the outside of the track. She'll go to the Rydell Skates penalty box.
Reef City cools it off, picks up another 4 points.
Por Favor will be jamming for the Force. Smiling Chaos, newly appointed captain, jamming for Reef City. With the crowd starting to recognise that it's looking more and more like Reef City are going to be taking this game. Although some of the pundits I was talking to earlier expected Reef City to take it by a considerably larger margin than what it appears they will. And Por Favor, lead jammer for Southside Derby Dolls. Let's see if Por Favor is going to slow it down and try and feed her to the pack. No, she's going for the points. She's burning the clock. She's waiting until Flash Dancer gets out of the penalty box. Calls off the jam.
You know, today there's been a scarcity of really great signage in the crowd. People really should have gone to Nikki Wallace Designs and asked them to design some nice posters and got them printed at One Stop Printing.
That's right. We've seen the odd hand-printed signs. You can see some whiteboards around the place. Thumper will be entering this jam against Ankle Biter.
Ankle Biter recycled right to the back of the pack. Right back to behind the back of the pack.
Thumper's the lead jammer. She seems to be thoroughly enjoying that role. And round the outside, she feints and changes direction.
Fantastic jump there. Ankle biter gets a forearm penalty, gets sent to the Rydell penalty box.
So the period clock is expiring as we speak. There is 1 minute 22 left on the jam clock. Thumper now has control of when this game will end. She is the lead jammer, but I think she's enjoying the power jam.
She is. She's just having fun now.
Look at her, puts her head down and shoulders away through those south side blockers. She's pushed off on the outside. She's going to call it. Reef City have won the Division 2 Grand Final at the Great Southern Slam, the first ever Division 2. It's unofficial. They're going to check the adding up of the scores. But it looks like there's about 85 points in it, folks. So Reef City, Cairns will be proud of you right now.
And the runners up tonight, the Southside Derby Dolls.
Southside Derby Dolls. S2D2, the force, very, very worthy runners up in this Division 2 Grand Final. Should be proud of themselves, earning 140 points. And we can see around the edges of this track the crowd forming. What are we calling it? Are we calling it a tunnel of love?
I'm calling it a tunnel of love.
The tunnel of love it is. Time is called. Reef City Roller Girls have won the Grand Final, 225, defeating Southside Derby Dolls 140. They're celebrating in front of the scoreboard here now. Very, very shortly indeed, they'll be doing their lap of honour through this tunnel of love. We still have the Division 1 Grand Final here to go today. Ladies and gentlemen, between Victorian Roller Derby League and the Sun State Roller Girls. All of that action is yet to come right here. The Reef City Roller Girls skating for you today have been Repossessed, Killer Bones, Viva Los Vengeance, Thumper, Long Lash Massacre, Fraulein Fierce, Malice and Mayhem, Jackie Slam, Le Mans, Smiling Chaos, Ominous Ohms, Rogue Rage, and Cataclysm. Dipolar Bitch been running the shots from the bench for those guys.
For Southside Derby Dolls, the Force, Bacardi Bruiser, Flashdance, we've got Ankle Biter, we've got Apollonia Thunderpussy, that's a mouthful. Freewee Fighter, Danny Hell, Winnie Bruiser, Killer Bee, London Brawling, Por Favor, Show No Mercy, Mini Mousica, Fairy Bled, Haiti Raid, Aphrodite, and Tequila Shot.
And the Force making their way back through the Tunnel of Love now. Through the Reef City Tunnel of Love, through the Derby Sweat End. And we've seen it pretty much every game here this weekend. They'll make their way over and thank the officials and thank the referees. So thank you very much for joining us here on Track 1 at the Great Southern Slam 2014 for the Division 2 Grand Final. My name has been what is my name? Bob DeQuickley.
That's right. My name is Dr. Brain, PhD. We can swap for a minute if you like.
That's right. I only have a Bachelor of Attendance.
And hopefully we'll see you all later.
Officials.